That's entertainment. You know, when you're a great fighter, a great entertainer in general, you want the person to say, when do I see that person again? When's he gonna play again? When's he gonna fight again? You know, you gotta be able, if you can't put in the seats, you're gonna get fired. You know.
40 fight, and I have Crawford winning this fight. Crawford's gonna win this fight doing something that nobody's done to Canelo.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say. And it didn't take me going to camp to know this.
Okay.
Weight game. So Israel Majimov says that if Terence Crawford bulks up, that's gonna be the biggest mistake he can possibly make. And that's gonna hinder him from being victorious against Saul Canelo Alvarez.
Mike Tyson reflected on his training sessions with Terence Crawford, stressing how crucial it is to stay composed before stepping into a massive showdown with Canelo. Tyson pointed out that fighters naturally deal with heavy pressure on a stage like this, but the toughest fight happens in the mind. In his view, if Crawford can keep his thoughts steady and not let the moment overwhelm him, he'll be able to deliver at his peak and make the path to victory seem much smoother.
You know, fighters, pressure, right? Pressure's not being hit. You know, everybody think pressure's like getting on stage. No, pressure's the thought of being hit. And that's how they fall. The thought is I'm not hitting that hard, but they think I am.
Right. So
it's all psychological.
Are you, when you're walking to the ring, are you noticing anything, or are you so locked in?
I see everything moving. Every person, every girl.
Dude, your walk-ins would last longer than the fights sometimes.
Do anyone have a napkin on my towel? Because I'm sweating like a pimp on one hole up here.
You sweating.
We will get you one.
You sweating.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You sweating like Charles Barkley at a spelling bee.
Yeah, I'm going to be sweating pretty hard there too.
Exactly. So Mike, we all know you hit hard. Who was the first person that when they hit you was like, oh, okay, this guy hits pretty hard?
Amir Khan, a veteran boxer who once faced Canelo Alvarez inside the ring, spoke about the magnitude of potential showdown between Canelo and Terence Crawford. In his view, Canelo's greatness and vast experience can't be denied, yet Crawford's punching power makes him a serious threat. With Crawford moving up in weight and adapting well to the division, Khan feels he's stronger than ever. He stressed that this isn't a one-sided battle, since both men carry elite skills. For Khan, this matchup goes beyond being just another fight. It's a collision of two exceptional talents, where either one could change the outcome with a single moment. While he respects Canelo's proven success at higher weight classes, Khan also warned that Crawford's adaptability and determination make this clash incredibly difficult to call.
He did that to Canelo after, so to your point, can Crawford do the same? Coming up from 54 and 47, can he, or will that, throw off the catch and shoot? I was gonna catch and shoot,
Make me think.
We're not catching and shooting.
We're catching it, resetting, and getting out of this range for a minute or two.
My fight with Arrow, I came back to the corner, and I had a look on my face, I guess. And my dad said, what's wrong? I said, nothing. Like, classic Sean, nothing. He said, Sean, tell me what's wrong. I said, my legs are kind of tight. He said, your legs kind of tight? He looked back, looked behind him. He would always do this and look back at the other corner. I don't know why. He looked back at them.
There's a habit problem.
He said, all right, we're not going to use our legs so much this round. And I was thinking to myself, like, I need these legs.
I'm not trying to wear these shots.
Yeah, so, to your point, when there's a feeling,
when the nervous system goes ow.
Where does that adjustment take place? Do you trust the adjustment? Do you implement it? So that next round I did settle down a little more. I was
lost around.
Whatever. Hello.
I don't know around here. Chill out.
He don't even know around here. Pour this water on you. So we got some time until this fight. So we ain't gotta pour it all out at one time. We'll work our way up to this one.
Try to get on big guests to lead up to the fight.
Expect some more very, very big guests, and expect some very, very big things from the Puerto Rico podcast. The week of Crawford versus Canelo versus Crawford takes place here. What is that? September 6th?
13th. I was just gonna say, I've been critical of the fight because I felt like it serves as a foreground to the Ali Act stuff. And
many analysts have raised concerns about Crawford's age and his limited experience at the higher weight divisions. By the time a potential fight with Canelo takes place, Crawford will be approaching 38, an age where the effects of time begin to show. Although he moved up to 154 pounds to face Israel Madrimov, that lone appearance hasn't convinced everyone that he's fully prepared to challenge someone as established at the heavier weights as Canelo. In boxing, age is more than just a number. It impacts speed, reaction time, and recovery, all of which become critical when matched against a relentless opponent. Experts note that while Crawford's skill set is still elite, his body may not operate at the same level it once did. That's why many see this potential matchup as the ultimate test of his career, not only in terms of technical ability, but also in physical endurance and mental resilience, given the scale of the challenge ahead.
He is successful September 13th, Las Vegas, Nevada, Allegiant Stadium, when he takes on another first ballot Hall of Famer, 4-division world champion, 2-time undisputed world champion, and reigning undisputed super middleweight world champion, Mexican superstar boxer Saul Canelo Alvarez, who is 63 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 wins by way of knockout. Terence Crawford had one fight at 154. That was against Israel Madrimov, the WBA junior middleweight world champion, right? And since then, Terence Crawford has moved up now to 168 to challenge Canelo Alvarez, okay? And so prior to that, he spent 5 years at what? Welterweight. So the concern that people have for Terence Crawford, rightfully so, is that Terence Crawford will be 38 years of age 2 weeks after the fight. So he's 37, okay? Terence Crawford has one fight at 154. Prior to that, Terence Crawford has been competing, okay, since 2018 for the last 7 years at 147. Since June of 2018, he's been fighting at 147. His only fight outside of that division in the last 5 to 6 years was his fight against Israel Madrimov at 154, which he won, unanimous decision. I thought he handily won, but people thought that he struggled. Israel Madrimov is now 10 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 7 wins by way of knockout because he lost his last fight to Mexican superstar WBC junior middleweight interim champion Virgil Ortiz Jr.
Crawford and his camp have repeatedly stressed how prepared they are for this challenge. Their main priority has been learning from the mistakes Jermell Charlo made when he was convincingly beaten by Canelo. Crawford has been clear that he is not Charlo, pointing out that his style, discipline, and ring intelligence make him a completely different opponent. His team has crafted a game plan built on smart movement, sharp accuracy, and controlled pacing. They understand that raw power alone won't be enough to overcome Canelo. Instead, their strategy is to frustrate him with tight defense while creating opening for counters. Training have been especially demanding, with tough conditioning drills and sparring sessions designed to replicate Canelo's strength and constant pressure.
Team Crawford just revealed that they're currently working on making sure that the Omaha native doesn't end up like Jermell Charlo this coming September 13th when he faces Canelo Alvarez. Now this report comes from Boxing Scene, wherein it was just revealed by somebody from Crawford's camp that Terence Crawford is, quote, wary of repeating the mistake that former 154-pound champion Jermell Charlo made to a new weight limit without consideration of other factors. Boxing Scene further elaborated by saying that Crawford wants to retain his ability to fight with fluidity, maximizing the effectiveness of his power punches from both hands and ability to fight from a southpaw stance. With that said, Crawford's camp is now on full lockdown from the media or any sort of distraction up until fight week. Now, it's definitely worth considering that while it's
Experts and analysts often highlight the risks that come with moving up in weight, since gaining size can sometimes reduce a fighter's speed and agility. In Crawford's case, recent photos online have sparked discussion, as he appears noticeably bigger than before. Still, many caution that such images can be deceptive because of lighting and camera angles. The real question, however, remains, at his age and with the added weight, can Crawford maintain the sharp quickness that has always been his trademark? While extra muscle may provide more power, it can just as easily affect stamina and mobility, which are crucial in a fight of this magnitude.
The man is simply human. I mean, the more you age and the more weight you gain, of course you're gonna be slower. Now that doesn't mean that he won't be an elite fighter anymore. No, of course not. When you talk about special fighters like Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, they can handle themselves against anyone on any given night in the worst circumstances possible. That is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get back into the discussion when it comes to Terence Crawford carrying the 168 division, when it comes to the 168 pound weight. So if you actually think about it, Terence Crawford, how is the man looking right now? I know, yes, I know that we have seen the new pictures of Crawford with him looking absolutely massive, but I actually talked about this in one of my previous videos, ladies and gentlemen, which you can go back and check out. Terence Crawford, don't let these pictures fool you, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let these pictures fool you. Yes, of course Terence Crawford gained weight, but the pictures make it seem like Terence Crawford looks like a heavyweight. Let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, the lighting and the pump and the angle, everything plays a part in how you look in pictures. You know what I mean? Like, this is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. I can show you 2 pictures of me taken within 24 hours, and in one picture my physique looks completely different than the other picture. One picture I can take after having a unbelievable workout, with a nice sweat on, with a nice pump, with some nice lighting and a nice angle. I would look completely different than when I look right now or getting out of bed, which I just did.
Abel Sanchez, a highly respected figure in the training world, has downplayed Crawford's chances against Canelo. In his view, this matchup would resemble more of a sparring session than a truly competitive fight, mainly because Crawford doesn't have the size to match Alvarez. Sanchez's remarks echo a broader belief that Canelo's natural strength, size, and long experience at higher weight classes give him a clear advantage. While he acknowledged Crawford's skill and accomplishments, Sanchez stressed that talent alone cannot always overcome the physical realities that come into play inside the ring.
Crawford, quote, "It will be a sparring session for Saul Canelo Alvarez." Coach Abel Sanchez dismissed Crawford's chance against Canelo, and it's really because of the weight gain. Renowned Mexican trainer Abel Sanchez has reignited the hype surrounding Canelo Crawford, scheduled September 13th, Las Vegas. Speaking to the ring, Gennady Golovkin, trainer, says, quote, "Crawford is a great fighter, but that's why weight divisions exist. Canelo has proven that when he moves up, he faces and beats the best in each category. Neither Bivol could hurt him, nor could my fighter in 2 fights." And he's talking about Golovkin. And even though Canelo and Golovkin fought 3 times, Abel did not train him for the 3rd fight. It was Jonathan Banks. So that's why he said in the 2 fights that he's familiar with, he's saying that Golovkin never really hurt Canelo. The weight jump, the big disadvantage. Crawford, undefeated record. He's 41-0, 31 knockouts. Agreed to move up to 168, blah, blah, blah. And he says, quote, "If Crawford had taken 3 or 4 years to gain strength and mass properly, he would have a better chance. But doing it in just over a year is too risky. He'll be slower and Canelo will dictate the pace." Now, this is a recent picture of Crawford, who definitely looks in shape. And, you know, that's what we come to expect from a guy like Crawford.
Chris Algieri offers a contrasting viewpoint, pushing back against the heavy hype surrounding this fight. While many fans and promoters have labeled it as one of the biggest events in boxing, Algieri isn't convinced. He admits the matchup is intriguing, but in his opinion, it doesn't rank among the greatest of all time. He points out that compared to legendary clashes where both fighters were in their absolute prime and evenly matched, this contest falls short. Algieri also cautions that the excitement may be inflated, since Crawford is venturing into unfamiliar territory against a champion who has already proven himself in the higher weight divisions.
I love it, because I have a lot of casuals who go to me like, "Man, I can't wait for this fight. This is the best matchup that could be made." And I'm like, no, it's not. It's certainly not. Definitely not. Definitely not the best fight that can be made right now. I can think of a dozen fights that I would rather see And a lot of them include Inoue against a bunch of different guys that I would rather see over this fight. But casual fans don't care that much about 122-pound guys who fight across the world in Japan. They care about big names and characters. But at the end of the day, when you look at this on paper, Crawford's 38, Canelo's 35. Neither looked very impressive in their last fight. They're still 3 weight classes apart. That has not changed, because, you know, and Crawford hasn't fought in a year plus. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of poo-pooing of this on paper. So I'm glad somebody says it. So thank you.
This guy, he didn't say his name. Yeah,
I like this guy. He came out there and just said his piece and left.
That's the type of guy that definitely calls in the WFAN here in New York. It's like, we need Boone fired. The Yankees suck. I don't look forward to anything. But,
what's up with that bullpen?
Yeah,
all right, I'm out of here.
I'm out. I'll hang up and listen. But yes, like you said, there are a bunch of fights you'd rather see. There are a bunch of fights I'd rather see both these guys in rather than the one we're getting. Like, I'd rather see.
That's a great way to put it too.
Yeah, Boots versus Crawford. I'd rather see Canelo versus Benavidez, Canelo versus Bivol, Canelo versus anyone at 168 of these top 5 there.
What about Virgil and Crawford? I like that fight. That got mentioned at one point.
Absolutely. I mean, but this is how boxing works. We'll all be excited on September 13th because it is a big event. We've talked about this numerous times on the show. We need big events, at least 1 or 2 of them a year, to stay relevant as a sport. It's on Netflix. We're all going to be excited that week heading into it. Maybe even that guy.
Hey, Dan and Chris. Love the show. This is Nero calling from Hollywood. I was wondering, with so many people taking Bud Crawford to win, I think at one point it felt like a hot take, and now it's becoming sort of a standard take. I hope this isn't too much of an abstract question, but can you think of another time where someone chose what seemed to be a hot take and then become the regular take? And what was the result of that fight? Personally, I think it's a bridge too far for Bud Crawford, and I think people are underestimating Canelo, but who knows?
Boxing analyst Showbiz adult points to the clear gap in the level of opposition both fighters have encountered. He argues that none of the men Crawford has defeated would realistically stand a chance against the type of opponents Canelo has battled. This comparison brings the resumes into focus. Canelo has repeatedly taken on, and often beaten, world champions across several weight divisions. Crawford, though unbeaten, hasn't faced opponents of the same proven caliber. That said, Canelo himself has faced criticism, with some claiming he carefully selects easier targets. Supporters counter this by noting that nearly all of Canelo's rivals have been accomplished champions in their own right. Looking at their careers side by side, Canelo's path has clearly been tougher, filled with elite competition across divisions, while Crawford's spotless record lacks victories over names of equal stature.
You've got to sway towards Canelo. Crawford's going to have to, move up, and, I knew when I boxed Golovkin, there's a big difference, especially with someone that, fighting a middleweight, a mediocre world champion's okay. But when you're fighting someone like, Canelo or Golovkin, it's a different kettle of fish, I have to lean towards Canelo, but, Crawford's very, very, very good.
Do you think Crawford's still got the legs? Obviously, he's very much got great IQ in the ring, but he's very much a good mover as well. Do you feel like he's still got the legs to be maybe out-moving Canelo if he needs to?
Well, I don't know. I think when we look back at Mayweather when he beat Canelo, he's a mover. Crawford's not really like Mayweather in that aspect. He's more, he kind of sets his feet and he's cute with how he approaches chucking shots and moving. You know what I mean? I think it's a different fight to Mayweather, and Canelo's obviously a different fighter from when he boxed Mayweather.
That wraps up today's video. Make sure to stay tuned for more updates, and we'll catch you in the next one.